is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Ohio.
Danny Salazar did not break camp with the Indians last spring, but he ended up making 30 starts and tying for the team lead with 14 wins. He'll make his spring debut under the sunny skies of Arizona next on Sports Time Ohio. The beautiful Sonoran Desert serves as the backdrop for spring training baseball. Cactus League action this afternoon in Goodyear as the Cleveland Indians once again take on the Cincinnati Reds. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Danny Salazar will make the start for the Tribe today on the Hill. A season ago, Rick, he set career highs in just about every pitching category, and he was among the major league leaders in many of the meaningful pitching statistical categories.
Yeah, but when you go back 1 year ago, he was vying for that number 5 spot here. Ended up not making the ball club, but came back with a career year. You're right, 14 wins, 30 starts, a career high in strikeouts, batting average against. He was number 5 in the league. Danny Salazar, explosive fastball. He's got that great split change, or actually it's like a forkball for Danny. It's a great changeup, and you want to see him build on those numbers he had last year.
He was only 5 strikeouts shy of joining teammates Corey Kluber and Carlos Carrasco in the elite 200 strikeout club. He's on the bump this afternoon, and he'll have some help in the starting lineup. Carlos Santana, who homered in the season spring training openers, back in the lineup. We'll see Yan Gomes behind the dish. All the play-by-play is coming up next. Goodyear Ballpark here in Goodyear, Arizona, as we get ready now for spring training baseball. Game 3 between Cleveland and Cincinnati. Reds won the first game between these two clubs. Yesterday they played to a duel, a draw rather, and so
there's no ties in baseball.
Well, there are in spring training.
Yes, there are.
And now the Indians take the field behind Danny Salazar. Not another gorgeous warm afternoon here in Arizona. Temperature once again will be in the upper 80s, close to 90 degrees. Danny Salazar, a 14-game winner a year ago. Let's take a look at the Reds starting lineup he will face this afternoon for Brian Price. The manager of Cincinnati, Jake Cave, will lead it off. He's in center field. Ivan DeJesus Jr. is the shortstop, batting second. Then Joey Votto bats third. Brandon Phillips will hit cleanup, followed by Jay Bruce. Adam Duvall is in left field hitting sixth. Jordan Pacheco will DH and bat seventh. Tucker Barnhart, switch hitting catcher, will bat eighth, and Alex Blandino at third base will hit ninth.
26-year-old Danny Salazar making his first spring start. What a terrific year, as we told you last year. Career highs in wins, innings pitched, strikeouts. He had 185 innings. He had 195 strikeouts. Batting average against just 226. And, you know, he was vying for that number 5 spot. Last year ended up not making the club, but came up and had a very good year. And hopefully he can build upon that as we move on. Let's set the defense behind him. It's going to be Butler in left. Davis is in center. Chisenhall over and right. Urshela is at third. Stamets is at short. Gonzalez at second. Santana at first. And Gomes will be doing the catching. Third straight day that they've been able to play against the Cincinnati Reds. So we're getting to know these two teams very well here. And it's only the third game of spring training. Third for these two teams.
Yeah.
Actually the second for everybody else around the state of Arizona.
Take a look at the umpiring crew here this afternoon. Alan Porter has the plate on the bases. They will rotate around. Trip Gibson, Carlos Torres, and Sean Barber.
They used to. It was only 2 umps, right, on the bases in the past. Now we have 3, I've noticed.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a everyday occurrence in spring training or if it's just something they try to do as many times as they can. I think occasionally you might still see some shorthanded crews, but hey, it gives an opportunity for a younger umpire to work in a major league setting so that when they do get called up, they're a little more familiar with the players.
Look, that's the way they have it during the year. It should be that way in spring training as well.
Jake Cave leading off, left-handed hitter. Danny Salazar misfiring on the first 2. Salazar last year, just 53 walks in his 185 innings of work, 195 strikeouts. Finds the zone, and it's 2-1.
Danny, a guy that really last year learned how to pitch a little bit more instead of powering his way through lineups. When he would go with his slider, he would work in his change, you know, utilize that fastball at times. And he learned a lot. But I mean, how can't you when you have a guy like Kluber around and then Carrasco took off, so you have an opportunity to watch some starters go at lineups prior to you pitching. It's a lot of fun to watch, and you should learn.
The 3-1 pitch is up high, and he walks the leadoff man. Today's storylines, Indians are looking at the outfield. Who fits where? Especially, you know, with Michael Brantley, question mark, will he be ready to go to start the year? Probably not, but maybe. So they've got to find who fits.
You know, that's going to be an ongoing battle all spring long.
And it's great to see a healthy Yan Gomes behind the plate. He's in there this afternoon, scheduled to play 3 innings. And Yan was healthy to start last year, but it was an unfortunate play at home plate. Rajay Davis, who's now in center field for the Indians this afternoon, slid in, tangled up with Gomes. It cost him a knee injury. But no question that his impact is huge on this club. And take a look back.
You know, it was not intentional. As a base runner, you're trying to beat that throw to the plate. There's nothing dirty about it. It just caught Gomes the wrong way. He ended up getting the knee injury and ended up missing 6 weeks. That was not a good sign. And Gomes was out there. Have him throw something else because he's been upstairs with all of his fastballs so far. Trying to maybe slow his delivery down, maybe rushing a little bit in that first start. Maybe a little overamped.
to first, but caved back easily. Last year, it was in spring training when pitching coach Mickey Callaway really made a point of emphasis with Danny Salazar to pick up the pace. He wanted him to quicken the tempo while he was on the mound, not take as much time between pitches. Get the ball, get the sign, get ready, and let's go. And it was something that they worked on. And as he got into the season, I think that was certainly important for Salazar.
Well, it keeps you in, I think, a little better rhythm. Keeps you from thinking too much. Get the ball, grab it. You have good enough stuff. Be aggressive and throw strikes.
And as we've seen, when you do those things, your defense is more active. They're in on every pitch. They're not standing around going, holy mackerel.
That's pretty much how every Indians pitcher pitches when you think about it. You go from top to bottom. From Kluber, I think Kluber may take the most time of any of them. But, you know, Carrasco does it. Salazar's getting into it. And, of course, you know that Josh Tomlin and Cody Anderson, they work quickly.
Runner goes on the 2-1 pitch, and it's hit to left. That's going to drop for a hit. And running on the pitch, Jake Cave will make it to third. Good throw by Joey Butler. Keeps DeJesus at first base, but Cincinnati has runners at the corners to start the game.
Well, he ended up hitting a pretty good pitch. It looked like it was up and in. That he ends up, he knew the runner was going. That ball, he buried him up and inside, but DeJesus did a nice job of getting the bat to the baseball. It falls in for a base hit, so Cave easily gets to third, so it's first and third now for Cincinnati. A big part of the lineup coming up for the first time.
Joey Votto. And an RBI opportunity, and that's certainly what Cincinnati is going to need to see a lot of this year. Votto, Phillips, and Bruce. Three veterans who handle the bat very well, very capably. The question is, can they find somebody in front of them to get on base? Or will Joey Votto end up batting second? We've seen that in the past. You would think he's better suited to bat third, but...
Well, that's true. You could. I would like to see him hit third. As good as he is, he's great on base percentage. You got to take into consideration Frazier's not there to hit homers and drive them in, so...
Look at that on base percentage in the second half. Over 500. Joey Votto led the National League in on-base percentage 4 straight years from 2010 through 2013. He's one of only 6 players in Major League history to do that.
Well, such a good eye at the plate. He is not afraid to take his walks. You're going to have to get him out. He's not going to get himself out for the most part.
Well, Danny Salazar just having a tough time throwing strikes here at the outset.
You know what? He's struggling right now. He hasn't established a fastball, first of all. He came out and his first 3-4 seamers were up and away. Now he's trying 2 seamers. You know, he's not being aggressive.
And that's ball 4. The bases are loaded.
Where's Mickey Callaway? He's got to come out here.
Walked 2 out of the first 3, and here comes Mickey Callaway.
Yeah, this is not a good start for Danny. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to tell him, look, and he does look like he's taking a lot of time sort of prancing around out there. Callaway has his say. Gomes will stay out and talk to him. Now remember this year, that's going to be a 30-second visit out there, no matter what time they hit or come out to talk. That clock will be on the coaches or the managers when they go out and talk to their pitcher.
They'll have it on the countdown clock, much like they introduced a year ago for the clock
in between
starting
innings.
Pitchers in between innings. Right now, though, Cincinnati has the bases loaded with nobody out, and Brandon Phillips is the batter.
Right now, Salazar would love to have a ground ball double play and trade it in.
Out of play. Last year, Phillips a dozen homers, 70 driven in. He's currently 13th on Cincinnati's all-time home run list. Two of his teammates rank ahead of him, Joey Votto and Jay Bruce. Swung on him, this nice pitch by Salazar. And he gets ahead of Phillips 0-2.
Comes back after a good fastball with a slider. And you can see where Phillips way out in front. Good location, nice break to it. Now ahead in the count. It should be a little easier for him.
Upstairs, Phillips gets on top of it, hits it high in the air to deep right field. Lonnie Chisenhall makes the catch on the warning track. Everybody tags and moves up, including Jake Cave, who comes home with the game's first run, and Cincinnati leads it 1-0.
Heads up play there by Votto on first to stay out of the double play. He just followed the other guy tagging and gets himself into scoring position.
Well, here in Arizona, this is a fairly calm. We probably have a better breeze today than we've had in the first couple of games that we've televised.
But not much.
Wind can definitely play tricks on the fly ball out here. So if you're a base runner, you almost always have to be heads up, because there's no such thing as a routine pop-up, is there?
No, not really. It may look like it, but it can be difficult. I think right there to Phillips, that was too good of a pitch from Danny on an 0-2 count. Made two good pitches, then left him something pretty good to swing at.
Jay Bruce takes a look. It's in the dirt. And look at the flags blowing in a bit more towards the right field corner. Jay Bruce, one of only 6 players in Cincinnati Reds history with 1,000 career hits and 200 home runs. Swung on and missed. Ball's in the dirt. Gomes blocks it.
Set his changeup. You see the bottom falls out, and he has Bruce way out in front. That's been the pitch that really came around for him last year. It is a field pitch because it's almost like a split finger or a fork ball.
Second and third, one out here in the first. And he strikes out Bruce. Good pitch by Danny Salazar.
Came back with
2 down.
Came back with it, and you know, Danny, a guy with 195 strikeouts last year. Sometimes you need him. He gets it right here when you needed it.
Adam Duvall will be the hitter with 2 down. Duvall, 27 years old. He came over from the San Francisco Giants in the Mike Leake deal at the deadline a year ago.
Yeah, there's another guy you forget about that Cincinnati had that they traded for young talent. Leake ended up signing now with the Cardinals.
Smacks that into center field, and that'll score a pair. Adam Duvall drives in 2 with a 2-out single to center, and Cincinnati leads it 3-0.
There's a very big base hit there with 2 outs. Then he had a chance to get out of the inning and only give up the 1 run, but a clutch base hit on a fastball down out over the plate. Duvall takes it right back up the middle. A clutch hit. So they score 3 now in the first.
And for any pitcher, they'll tell you that it's those walks that come around the score that really gnaw at you because you don't make them earn their way on.
The walks and the good play by Votto, tagging up on the fly ball from Phillips. That's an extra run there. And you know, when you have a team like the Indians are going to have with pitching defensive oriented, a lot goes into that 90 feet. You know, when you can keep a team from taking an extra base or doing little things, that's what you try to do, and try to keep the other team from doing it, so it keeps you in a ball game.
Jordan Pacheco looks, it's up high, 2-0, and Danny Salazar has just been out of sorts here today.
Yes, he certainly has been. You know, in your first start coming out, too, you're on about a 25 or a 30 pitch limit coming in. So I see they have somebody throwing already out there in the bullpen. Hopefully he can get that third out.
Back out of play. Two-one, caught the outside corner, and that'll even it up. In all likelihood, this will be the final batter Salazar faces, one way or the other. Swung on and missed. He strikes it out to end the inning. Salazar fans a pair, but Cincinnati turns 2 walks into 3 runs, and they grab the early lead. Redbird making his rounds in the concourse for the ball game today. Here in Goodyear, Gomes having a chat with Danny Salazar. Talking maybe a little mechanics there.
Absolutely. Maybe following through. Looks like he's saying that front shoulder. Coming down and getting through your target.
Danny charged with 3 runs on 2 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts in the first inning here today. Anthony DeSclafani will start for Cincinnati. Here's the Indians starting 9 under Terry Francona. Rajay Davis will lead it off. Then it's Yan Gomes, Carlos Santana in the 3-hole. Lonnie Chisenhall will bat cleanup. Then it's Joey Butler, followed by Tyler Naquin, who will serve as the DH. Giovanni Urshela, Eric Gonzalez, and Eric Stamets round it out.
Anthony DeSclafani had a nice rookie year. He's 25 years old, 6'1", 200 pounds. Led the National League rookies in starts. He tied and innings pitched, and had a very good rookie year for him.
Pitch inside. It's ball 1.
Had 184 2/3 innings, 151 strikeouts. Again, we told you about the Reds pitching, how many games that rookies pitched for him last year. He was one of 9 rookies to pitch for the Reds rotation, and they made 110 starts throughout the course of the year.
Davis in the leadoff role today, taking a strike. It's 2-1. And he cuts and misses on a ball that was bearing in on him. 2-2.
Yeah, he has good late movement on his pitches. He ended up missing 1 start last year. It was right before the All-Star break. And then he took that start off, and he started against the Indians, the second game coming out of the break when we opened up in Cincinnati, and that's where the All-Star game was held last year.
Yan Gomes in the on-deck circle was telling Rajay Davis earlier this afternoon during batting practice, said, you know, after all the grief you've caused me the last several years, you better be getting on base and creating havoc. He pops this one high in the air, left to center field. Jake Cave is under it, and he's got it 1 away.
Well, Cincinnati's defense behind DeSclafani is set up this way. Duvall is in left, Cave in center, Bruce in right. Landino at third, DeJesus at short. Phillips is at second, Votto at first, Barnhart doing the catching.
Yan Gomes digs in.
And we may be starting just a 3rd game of spring training, but they already have a defensive shift on for Yan Gomes, where Phillips is on the left side of the infield. And rarely do you see that for right-handers. You see it more for left-handers.
Well, they've got the charts, they've got the numbers to back it up. And a swing and a miss. Now you think about Yan Gomes, and obviously we have seen him. This guy can use the whole field when he hits, but if he hits the ball on the ground, most of the time it'll be to the left side.
Pulls it on the ground and will go to right center, you know, when it's in the air. But not this time. He comes up empty.
2 down.
Well, with a fastball upstairs, knowing that Yan Gomes is a good low ball hitter. That's a good pitch with 2 strikes to Gomes because it's elevated. You see, he just couldn't catch up to it.
And now Carlos Santana steps in. Santana with a stinging home run the other day to right field. Takes it up and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Terry Francona, when asked about how he foresees the starting lineup, batting order, if you will, shaking out, he said, I don't look at combinations. I don't tinker with it a lot during spring training, but the one thing he has at least thought about, potentially batting Carlos Santana in the leadoff spot. We'll talk more about that when we come back. 3-0 Cincinnati after 1.
right, welcome back, and we want to remind you, Saturday out here at the ballpark, Jason Kipnis bobblehead day. The Indians are going to take on the San Francisco Giants coming to town, and there it is. Now, does that look like Kip? What do you think? What do you think? Okay, thanks for that input.
Yeah,
I guess
don't know.
it doesn't.
I'm still.
No bobblehead looks like the guy, but that's Jason Kipnis. They will be giving away out at the ballpark on Saturday. We'll have to ask him on Saturday what he thinks.
I don't think of him as, with that kind of form.
That's true.
I think of him staying down through the ball, stinging one to the opposite field.
Yeah, but it's a bobblehead.
Yeah. Our bobblehead had us sitting behind a desk.
Yeah, right where we should be.
Tucker Barnhart catching for Cincinnati today. In the 8th spot in the lineup, pops one back out of play. Danny Salazar back out.
We'll see if I think they probably wanted to send it back out to get a feel and end on a positive note. So he may be on about a 35 pitch count for game number 1. We'll see if he can get through the inning.
The 2-2 is strike 3 called right down Broadway, it looked like. And so back-to-back Ks for Salazar.
Okay, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
the head
see, head's
stays
down.
down on the baseball, and Kip's look. Well, this is Arizona. You hit high fly balls, and he's got the sunglasses on. You don't see him hit with sunglasses on, so.
That looks like Ryan Lance, actually, on the right side.
That's who it is. Ryan playing golf. I hope he's sitting over listening to us right now.
Oh, I'm sure he's so busy in his daily duties that he doesn't have time to watch the ball game.
Well, he's a busy man.
Alex Blandino batting 9th, third baseman, and takes a strike. Terry Francona has to like. He's seeing a little bit of a different Danny Salazar here in the 2nd inning.
Well, whatever he and Gomes talked about, seems like he's putting it in play here.
Swung on and missed. Blandino down on strike. So that's 4 Ks for Salazar, and all 4 have come in the last 5 batters.
Well, and that's how you want him. You want him to finish up on a positive note, and he has good arm speed, and look at the ball just never gets there. So whatever adjustment he made, it's much better in this inning. He was all over the place in the first.
Broken bat fouled off to the left. And Jake Cave, who walked to start the game and came around to score, will need a new piece of lumber.
They're in no hurry getting him a new bat either. You know, during the year, it seems like
you can see a bat boy.
Yeah. No, he's got to go get his own. You're right. There isn't a bat boy over there.
During the regular season, it's become sort of a baseball mandate. They usually have
an extra
second bat right in the on-deck circle,
yes,
just in case that happens.
Well, there's a bat boy in there. It's just that he's taking in some sun.
With 2 down. And an 0-1 count. Jake Cave takes a look. Salazar deals, and a swing and a miss. With a fastball.
You can see the changeup.
Changeup combination.
But you can see how he's keeping it down. He's got the good arm speed with it in this inning.
Not a play. Just to finish up the thought, mention that Terry Francona has at least considered the possibility of batting Carlos Santana in the leadoff spot because you think of Carlos, the walks he takes, the on-base percentage, but he had the Indians front office guys who specialize in the statistical end of things do some analysis, and he said, the numbers didn't come back as glowing as I thought they would have. So he said the data doesn't really point and say, boy, this is a great idea. He said it kind of was just sort of, yeah, maybe. Yeah. But I don't think Santana's going to be batting leadoff. Swing and a miss. Cave strikes out, and Danny Salazar wipes out the side here in the second inning. 5 out of the last hitters down on strikeouts. When we come back, Corey Kluber joins us here in Goodyear. A 3-0 score as we go to the home half of the second inning. Lonnie Chisenhall, Joey Butler, and Tyler Naquin due up for the Indians. Lonnie Chisenhall takes, and it's in for a strike, 1-1. Anthony DeSclafani with a 1-2-3 first inning.
You can see the good movement he has to the left-handers, that ball going away.
That time he moved it in on him.
Yes, like a little cutter or something on the inside part of the plate. Good pitch.
With Lonnie Chisenhall at the plate, Cincinnati employs a three-man shift to the right side of the infield. Up and away. And a full count. And the payoff pitch is hit right back up the middle. And without the shift, that's a base hit. But the shift takes one away from Chisenhall, and there's one away. Ivan De Jesus Jr., who is the shortstop, normally would be positioned on the left field side of the bag, but in that shift scenario, he is right in the tracks.
You know, we can never say that anymore. You know, where the guy's out of position, because they are actually now in position so many more times. When they're playing out of position, you see the third baseman was over at shortstop. So you're right, they had him played perfectly.
Joey Butler takes a swing, comes up empty. Corey Kluber, Indians starting pitcher, will join us in the top half of the third inning. From the Indians dugout, so we'll go down and visit with Corey next half inning. 2 balls and a strike for Butler. And a hard hit ground ball. Diving stop at third by Blandino. He gets up and throws him out.
Boy, that's a nice play.
And Alex Blandino with a fine diving stop to his left. Takes a hit away from Butler, and there are 2 down.
That ball, I thought it was through for a base hit, but Blandino makes a beautiful play, stopping it, getting up. Even with Davis running, he had plenty of time to get it over there in time. Well done.
And now that will bring up Tyler Naquin. Naquin serving as the DH this afternoon.
And this is a guy I think that's going to get every opportunity to try and get the center fielder's job here in the spring.
15th overall pick 4 seasons ago. Terry Francona, one of the jobs that he and his staff will keep their eye closely on throughout the spring is who fits where in the outfield. Naquin hits a hard shot up the middle. And Jesus Jr. stays with it and throws him out. The Indians go 1-2-3, 2 perfect innings of work for Anthony DeSclafani. And it's Cincinnati 3, Cleveland nothing through 2. Back here in Goodyear, we head to the third inning with Cincinnati leading 3-0. Danny Salazar went 2 innings to start this afternoon, finished strong, and now Jared Grube comes on. Grube worked a scoreless 9th inning in the spring opener against Cincinnati with a strikeout. And let's just keep that pitching theme rolling as we head down to the Indians dugout. And we're joined now by Indians starter Corey Kluber. Corey, how are you?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Terrific. How's your spring gone so far for you?
Everything's good so far. Obviously healthy, so that's the main goal right now. But things are moving along good. Progressing all the checkpoints we need to hit and stuff. So I'm excited to get in there in the game.
Yeah, well, you'll get your first start on Saturday against the Giants. And how was your off season? Did you do anything differently this year to prepare coming in to this season?
No, pretty similar stuff for me. Just trying to get my body to a point where I'm ready to go out there and hopefully log some innings. Nothing drastic to adjust to or, things like that. Just trying to stick with the same and, like I said, hopefully go out there and make a lot of fun starts.
Corey, is it ever difficult when you're in spring training to make sure you don't, you know, push the pedal to the metal, if you will, because you have to sort of ease your way into it. You can't come out throwing full bore at the get-go.
I think you learn how to do it over time. I think that it's a little bit difficult to do it, especially, you know, your first few camps and stuff. There's that excitement factor, and then I think the more you become comfortable with it, you get used to not really easing your way into it, but realizing that it's a progression. You know, you don't want to hit the ground running the first day of camp, because then you're going to be worn out by the time the season starts, but you also don't want to go out there and just kind of take it easy. So it's kind of that fine line, I guess.
It's a matter of you knowing your own body and what it takes you to get ready to prepare for game number 1 of the season.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing, is to be ready to go when opening day hits. You know, hopefully everybody gets to the point where they're ready to go when that arrives.
Corey, are you a guy that takes any of your spring training starts and say, okay, today I want to work on a specific pitch, or do you try to work all your pitches into every start you make?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that for me personally. Usually I like to try to use the bullpen sessions to work on things, and ideally when I get into a game, I'm going out there and competing, you know, trying to get in that mind frame as opposed to working on stuff. I think that for me, that's what works best to get ready when it is time to actually go.
Well, I know we had a fun year last year, because when you guys had some great friendly competition throughout the starting rotation with you and Carrasco, and Salazar would pick it up at Bauer, and now Tomlin and Anderson. That's something that you guys, I mean, it's fun to watch you guys do that when the season starts. And you'll be probably leading the way right from day one against David Price, so you got to look forward to that.
Yeah, I think that it's entertaining to have the opportunity to sit there and watch the other 4 guys every time you're not throwing too. I think we all enjoy watching each other throw and watching each other have success, so it's not something where I wouldn't say it's a competition between us, because I don't think that's the right word, but I think we all kind of try to
feed off
each other and keep the momentum building, that type of thing.
When you're watching your teammates and they're making a start, is there ever a time where you pick something up and say, and you go to a guy and tell him maybe you might want to make an adjustment? Do you pick things up like that, or do you just lay back and let Mickey deal with all that stuff?
No, I think we do a good job of communicating with each other, whether it be during the game or before the game. If a guy pitched the night before, you know, we usually ask him a few questions, things like that. But I think that's part of the group effort to try to, you know, get everybody on the same page, and hopefully everybody to go out there and have successful outings. I think that nobody's too prideful to try to give the other guy some advice, because obviously our goal is all to go out there and win.
Well, it's nice, too, if somebody can find a hole, they think, in a hitter's zone, that you can certainly go ahead and attack as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that the more you can get firsthand scouting reports from a guy who's just faced some hitters, I think the more, you know, probably relevant it is. And I think that, like you said, you know, hopefully that's something that doesn't take until the next series to happen. It's something that we can kind of recognize quickly, and, you know, whether it be the next night or 2 nights down the road, it works to our advantage.
Corey, do you enjoy the cat and mouse game of making adjustments? Because I'm thinking, you know, now, you know, you've been around, you've been through the division a number of times, and you face the Kansas Cities, Detroits, Minnesota, Chicago so many times. There isn't a whole lot of mystery left, whether it's you facing the hitters, knowing their strengths and weaknesses, and them kind of knowing how you're going to attack them. Do you enjoy how those things sort of evolve throughout the course of a season and now over your career as well?
Right, like you said, you know, we play, especially teams in our division, you play them so often, but everybody's got advanced reports, all the video and stuff that they could ever want to pick up on guys' tendencies, things like that. So, yeah, once people have started to develop a scouting report on you, you obviously have your scouting report on them, and like you said, guys kind of know each other, so then it just really becomes a point of execution. I mean, it's not so much going out there and trying to trick guys, because you know, like you said, they've seen you, they're familiar with you, so it's really just a matter of going out there and executing proper pitches. And even when you do that, sometimes guys are going to get hits because they're major league hitters.
Yeah, that's true. Are you going to go with the new look this year with your socks with the stripes on them?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a good look, so
I do too.
We're trying it out now, see how it goes.
I like them.
I'm a fan of the stripes. I think the stripes look solid.
Yeah, I agree.
Rajay Davis fighting that sun out there, man. It's
tough
not
sun
easy.
Field. No, it's not. It's a Arizona tough sun field. We'll tell you that every single day.
He's retired the last two, and now Jay Bruce, big veteran left-handed hitter, to face Jared Gruber, visiting with Corey Kluber here in the third inning. Indians down in the early going here, 3-0. And that pitch is up and away. Do you look forward to all of the sort of pageantry that comes with an opening day? I mean, everybody's looking ahead and saying, well, it's going to be Corey Kluber and it's going to be David Price. Do you look forward to those things, or do you not allow yourself to get that far ahead?
Well, obviously, there's so much build up to, like you said, 'cause it's the first game and there's nothing else to really go on up until that point. But I think all that stuff is cool. All the stuff beforehand is cool. You know, usually the big flag on the field, all that kind of stuff. But it's funny how once you get out there, you know, you got your nerves and stuff. They're probably a little more than normal. But then you get out there and you throw that first pitch, and it all of a sudden just turns into another game.
Well, and that first pitch is going to come 1 month from today, and hopefully the weather's going to be about the same as it is right now.
I would take this in a heartbeat, yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Corey, thanks for being with us. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Indian starting pitcher Corey Kluber. We head to the bottom of the third. Cincinnati 3, Cleveland 0.
Live Indians baseball is back in 2016 with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or your tablet. You can stay connected with live radio, broadcast, stats, breaking news, and more. Download the #1 app for live baseball. That is MLB.com at bat.
The new pitcher for Cincinnati is Jonathan Sanchez. Sanchez, a veteran of 194 big league games, but an overall record of just 39-58. They'll be facing the bottom third of the Indians' order here in inning number 3. Last year, Sanchez spent the season in the Cubs organization at AAA.
Yeah, the last time I remember him was with Kansas City, pitching against the Indians, and there's a couple times they had issues with the hit batters with him.
He actually only pitched in 1 game last year at AAA for the Iowa Cubs, and it wasn't one that he'll any time want to recall. Sanchez, as he gets Urshela to foul out, he came on and gave up a grand slam in 2/3 of an inning.
Ouch.
Then went on the DL and didn't pitch again. But Sanchez, well, I guess now it's 7 years ago. He threw a no-hitter for the Giants against San Diego.
I thought he had a no-hitter to his credit. I remember that.
Pitched on the Giants club that won the World Championship in 2010. He hasn't pitched in the big leagues since 2013 when he was with the Pirates. Ground ball in the hole. Backhanded by De Jesus. Perfect throw gets Eric Gonzalez 2 down. We'll be back with you Saturday afternoon when the Indians host the San Francisco Giants here in Goodyear. Corey Kluber will make the start. And the first pitch will come your way at 3 o'clock Eastern time on your home of the Indian Sports Time Ohio. It will also be the Jason Kipnis bobblehead giveaway.
The Ryan Lance golf day giveaway.
With 2 down, Eric Steinmetz is the batter. Last year at Double-A Akron, you see Steinmetz, what he did statistically after coming over from the Angels for David Murphy. Mentioned the other day, Steinmetz is from Columbus, went to Dublin Scioto High School. Wow. His favorite player growing up was Omar Vizquel, Indians fan. So it's a thrill for him. Look, it's a thrill for anybody to get drafted and start playing Major League Baseball, but for him to get traded to the Indians is a huge thrill. And he takes ball 4. Indians have their first base runner as Steinmetz draws a 2-out free pass, and we'll turn it over to the top of the order and Rajai Davis. Rajai Davis may be 35 years old, but Rick, you're around him for 5 minutes, you'd never guess he was a day over 30 for that matter. I mean, it's hard to gauge sometimes people's age, but he's got that youthful energy about him.
Every day you're in that with that uniform on,
you feel like a kid.
Yeah, you feel like a teenager. So you know you can take age out of it a lot of times.
But I think the important thing to point out is that even at age 35, Rick, he still runs. He still has the good wheels, and usually as players age, that's a skill that usually is quick to decline.
Well, true. You got to be careful when you sign guys that make their living with their speed. You know, defensively you have to do it because, you know, Rajai is a guy that can steal bases and has in his career. But, you know, you pick and choose when you do it now.
Throw down to first. Steinmetz back with a dive.
But he can certainly be aggressive on the bases, going first to third and scoring and stealing a base if need be.
Well, I think the important thing, too, is Terry Francona has looked at it and said, look, we didn't sign him to be an everyday outfielder. Now, he may be an everyday outfielder early in the season if Michael Brantley can't go or isn't ready to start the season, and that's okay. He can play every day for a spell. But at 35, maybe you don't want him playing every single day in the outfield.
I agree.
Keep him fresh and make him more effective. And that ball's hammered down the left field line. Stay fair. It is a foul ball.
He knew it was going to be close coming out of the batter's box. He wanted to hesitate. He got a pitch up in the zone to his liking, and that thing just curved foul at the end. It may be tough to see the baseball when it lands, but you can tell as a hitter goes out of the batter's box, he is going to look down, and we don't get to see it fair or foul. Obviously, it was foul, but it was close.
Well, Davis with another chance, though he's down on the count here, 1-2. Time call.
Yes, he did.
On the appeal, he did go around, and that will end the inning. 3 complete. Cincinnati maintains a 3-0 lead.
Well, the best way to enjoy Indians baseball all summer is by becoming a season ticket holder. They got a great package for you this year. If you want to become a 20-game package plan, you get up to 12 games for free. Actually, you'll only end up buying 8. If you were to buy 20 tickets for a ball game going out there the day of the game, end up getting 12 games free. So it's a nice deal on the 20-game packages. Check it out at Indians.com.
Zach McAllister comes on for the Indians here in the 4th inning. They'll face 6, 7, and 8 in the Cincinnati lineup. McAllister last year in 61 games had an ERA of 3 even, 4-4 record. Once again, a warm, sun-splashed afternoon here in the Arizona desert.
I can say next week in the forecast they may have an opportunity for Tuesday's game. What do we have? Seattle there here at this ballpark where it's going to be in the 60s and a chance of rain for you. It hasn't rained here in a month and a half.
Yeah, I'm not
but
buying
I did say a chance.
I know. I believe the cooler temperatures are coming, but I'm not buying that rain thing.
I hear you.
I think guys out here, I think there's a chance of rain just for something to say.
They do.
You know?
And they turn the hose on.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I'm giving you hope.
Adam Duvall takes a strike.
You were starting to scare me today this morning when we were watching batting practice and you said you're a little chilly.
I'm like,
really?
Blood thins out in a hurry, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. You know, you never believed me, did you?
I was standing in the shade, a little breeze going. Whew,
yeah, a little breeze of about 75.
There's a high pop. Left field, fighting the sun, Joey Butler. Over near the line. And he makes the catch, 1 away.
Boy, as an outfielder, you almost have to have a towel in your pocket to dry your eyes after that ball comes down with a high fly ball here. There's the Reds bat boy. You see him getting the work.
Oh, yeah. A batter now is Jordan Pacheco, who struck out his only time up in the first. And Zach McAllister misses low ball 1.
See Zach working on that slider. Slider or maybe cutter, you know, because he was throwing that a lot last year as that pitch he was going to take him off the fastball, because he has a good fastball. But if he can throw something off speed and take the hitters off that, it'll certainly help him out a whole lot.
I mean, it could quickly catapult him into the level of really, really good. I mean,
Well,
if he
he's
develops
going to be out there and throw one inning, you know, for the most part. They're going to extend him out and get him to throw a couple. But if he can mix in an occasional breaking ball, let's see the cutter. You see, it is a fastball, but it's got just a little run to it. Just a little run to it. But you have to have something off speed, because there were times last year when Zach was in there, when it came down to it, when he had to throw a pitch, it was going to be a fastball, but that one was paint.
And that was absolutely pinpoint perfection.
You look at the location here, and it's absolutely perfect. You see that little cutter away, and then there's a blue darter down on the knees and on the outside corner.
Tucker Barnhart out on strikes his only time up. Starts him off with a breaking ball, and that's in the dirt. Swung on, belted to deep center field. Back goes Rajai Davis. He can't find it. Lost it in the sun.
It's a double.
It hit on the track, bounced over the yellow line, and then hit the green wall above the yellow line. So that's a ground rule double.
You see, when he put his bare hand up there, he was trying to block the sun. He took his eye off the ball, and now watch his hand go up. He's trying to block the sun to pick it up. And he's shading his eyes, but then all of a sudden at the last minute, he never could see it. And he gets out of the way, and it goes above the yellow line. So that's a ground rule double. Boy, oh boy. See, and what you're doing, when he had to go to his left, you're running it into the sun. You know what I'm saying? If he could have been over there and maybe the other way, we just can't tell you how tough it is to catch fly balls out here.
Loop to right. Coming hard is Lonnie Chisenhall. Makes a one-hop catch. They hold the runner at third. Oh, now he's caught in no man's land. They'll throw down, and they got him out. I don't know what happened to Tucker Barnhart. He came around third and just pulled up thinking, not sure what he was thinking. Unless maybe he injured himself as he came around third, but he just kind of got stuck in the middle of nowhere. And so the inning comes to an end. Maybe he hurt himself. Who knows? Cincinnati leads it 3-0. And at the end of the last half inning, I think, Rick, that Tucker Barnhart, maybe he just thought Lonnie Chisenhall caught the ball and the inning was over.
Well,
because he just kind of stopped like, okay.
Your third base coach is waving you, though.
What else could it have been?
I really don't know. It was a huge mistake. You'd never assume he caught the ball. If you don't pick up your third base, he should have been looking out there to see where the ball was coming in from anyway if he was going to try to score.
Once again, Cincinnati employs a three-man shift left side of the infield with Gomes at the plate.
Yeah, it is. It's his fault, man. You got it with 2 outs, and you're on second base. There's a base hit. You know the third base coach is pretty much going to send you. You know, you're going to try and score. I don't care if you can run or not. It's spring training, and guys' arms aren't where they're supposed to be. So that was just a base running blunder right there.
Terry Francona told me he was pleased with what he saw in game 1 from the Indians defenders, turning the double plays, the outfield relays, that they were able to cut down a couple of guys. He said, obviously, yesterday we overthrew a cutoff man in a critical situation, and that led to a run. But he said those are things that he said you're happy to see some of the fundamentals being executed well early in camp, because he said, you know, a lot of times guys' arms aren't up to snuff,
right,
or maybe a little bit sore because you're doing a lot of work in a condensed amount of time. But overall, he's been pleased with what he's seen.
Well, you have to make mistakes. That's what I mean, they are preaching it. They're talking about it. But you're right. You've got to.
Brandon Phillips made the catch on the broken bat liner from Gomes, one away.
The mistakes, once they're made, you address them, and you talk about it on a daily basis. And, you know, it comes from hard work.
You could see Phillips telling DeJesus, his counterpart in the middle of the infield, that ball was knuckling. Even though it was a broken bat job by Gomes, the ball didn't have any spin on it. He had to stay with it. Every once in a while you get one of those in the outfield too, don't you?
Oh yeah, you'll get a double ball out there. Ball hit so hard and it dances all over the place. Hard to explain.
Santana batting from the left side of the plate his first time up, hit a line drive that was caught by Brandon Phillips. Now batting right-handed against the lefty Sanchez, and Phillips once again shifted like they were with Gomes. 3 on the left side of the infield. And we talked earlier about potential batting orders, and I think Terry feels like with Santana and with Lindor both being switch hitters, those two guys play an important role in breaking up the left-handed bats of Brantley and Kipnis, because he said the one thing you don't want to do is late in the game have Kip and Brantley back-to-back to where the other team can go to one left-hander and face them both.
Right. Well, break it up if you can, but you're right. But, you know, with the signings that they made this year, would you...
With Mike Napoli and Rajay Davis, right-handed hitters.
Yeah.
Juan Uribe as
you
well.
know, the right-handed hitters now, the switch hitters can break them up too. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's they've got a little more flexibility, I think.
But, you know, Terry, and I understand why Terry gets asked about it, because it's something that all of us amateur managers like to do. Who's going to bat where and try to figure it out. But Terry, he's not tipping his hand. He's not saying, like, I haven't really thought about it because I don't have to.
It's too early. It's too early in the spring, first of all. Second of all, you're not going to pinch hit for Kipnis or Brantley anyway if they face a left-hander. You will pinch hit for Chisenhall, you know. But those two guys, they're your everyday players. They're not going to get pinch hit for Chisenhall. Double play.
That ends the inning. 4 complete. Still Cincinnati 3, Cleveland 0. All right, back here in Goodyear, where the Reds lead at 3-0. New catcher behind the dish is Adam Moore, as Zach McAllister stays on for second inning of relief work. And with Adam Moore taking over behind the plate, that means Yan Gomes. This day is over. Well, it's not over, but he's out of the ball game. So let's go down to the Indians dugout. Day's never over down here, is it?
Oh, no way, man. Still got to go work some more.
Yeah. What normally you guys come out, you do some early work, take some batting practice, run through some drills. Now you've got the game. What happens after the ball game?
You start getting into your routine of recovering a little bit, but you know, playing 4 innings, you kind of want to get your body used to going a little bit more than that. But I usually just go, if I feel something where I'm hitting or throwing or whatever it is, oh, did he get hit? And I'll just try to go take some extra swings in the cage, trying to get your body going a little more.
You guys never do get enough hitting, do you?
No.
It's like you love to hit.
Yeah, I mean, hitting is a really tough sport, man.
Yeah, it is.
So you're trying to figure out what it is that you're doing and just trying to get in that rhythm and getting your timing right. So
foul ball at the third base side.
You know, we were talking about it the other day, Jan, for you guys, the catchers that come in. Man, you guys, for spring training, I would never, ever want to be a catcher. You got to warm up the pitchers. You got to block the balls. You got to work on your throws. You got to do everything. And hitting comes last for you guys, correct?
Well, actually, from the first game, a couple of the catchers didn't even get a live BP because we had to catch everybody.
Yeah, right.
So I ended up trying to get something going that day, and I'm still just trying to like get my first couple live BPs, I guess you could call it, in the game.
Well, this is a fun staff, obviously, to work with because of the arms the Indians have. But, Jan, in a spring training scenario, how much time do you try to put in with the other guys that you maybe haven't caught a lot, just so you have some familiarity with them should they make the club or get called up at some point during the year?
Really, it's just right now is trying to get to know them a little bit. You know, I think we've seen enough playing against some guys, or we got enough video of some guys of what they do. But right now, I'm just trying to get to know a couple of the guys, getting that comfortable feeling with each other, and just getting them to know me and knowing what my philosophy is, and then later on I'll try to really start working with guys on what they like to do with hitters or things like that when they get on the mound.
Yeah, because you've got, I think Mickey said, 27 pitchers in camp, so that's a lot of guys to get to know. And do you have a notebook? I mean, how do you keep track of each and every guy, or is it all in your head? What they throw, what they like to throw? I mean, how do you keep track of that?
Yeah, I got a couple notebooks about it, but I mean, really, that's where I credit our scouting staff, man. I mean, we got a couple guys here that really put in a lot of effort into that, and I try to get as much time as I can with them, because that's just what they do. That they just go and get these guys' numbers and their tendencies or their percentages or however other analytical term you can put it in. So, but it really comes down to getting to know them in the game. I think once you get them in the game is where things change a little bit, especially when things get tight, when things get, certain situations in the game.
Now, I'm just curious from your perspective. Danny Salazar looked a little out of sorts there in the early going, and then all of a sudden something changed and he was just locked in, lights out. What happened there?
Well, it was a matter of him getting his timing down. You know, he was kind of going a little too fast with his front side, and that's why his arm was kind of lagging behind. But I think, once you get going in your first couple outings, you're trying to not, go full speed, but then your competitive nature kind of takes over, so it's going one way or the other. And as soon as he maybe, got a couple guys on, maybe give up a couple runs, and he's like, let me just turn it back on and get going. And I think you saw the next inning.
He was lights out, no doubt. Hey, I know it's 2 outs, but you did a lot of work this winter with Mike Barnett, the new coach that's going to be with us.
Tennessee
down to
boys.
Tennessee, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Actually, he's been living there for a while now, and I don't even know why. Like, I never try to reach out to him or anything. And then we actually started hitting together before he got hired by the Indians. And then you know, we hit a couple times, and it was just a matter of like somebody that knew what, or that had experience in pro ball and had been a hitting coach, just kind of helping me out and having a second look at me, and he helped me out tremendously. We still kind of get to work a lot together, but it was I think it was like a third or fourth time hitting, and then he got hired.
See, Arch, that was a strong veteran move on your part. Yeah, there were 2 strikes and there were 2 outs, but it's Joey Votto at the plate.
Yeah,
so you knew he was going to take 3
I
or 4
knew we
pitches.
had time, so now we can say that Yan Gomes got Burnett hired here. Well, you know, he was with. I know. I'm just kidding. He was with Tito down in the minor leagues back when he was with the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, Tito and I had actually talked to him a little bit during the season, and he asked if I knew him. I know my father-in-law knew him. And once we got back into the off season, I gave him a call and we started hitting. I got to meet him, and then we started hitting.
Well, that's pretty cool. You got a new friend now for the off season.
Yeah, I mean it's nice having somebody that you know has been through it and knows what they're doing, instead of trying to do it yourself. I think
Well, it makes it a lot more fun for you when you have work to do in the off season. You have somebody you can do it with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zach McAllister trying to work through the inning. 2 down, a runner at first. Brandon Phillips, the batter. We're talking with Yan Gomes. So much of the talk about this club is focused on the pitching because that's the strength. Great defense as well. But Yan, what do you like about this offense? The potential that this lineup has now with some of the new additions like Mike Napoli and Rajay Davis, you back healthy, etc.
I think we just added 2 like really big weapons to our lineup. You know, I think we've talked about our right power that we needed and all this, but I think Napoli, not only of his power, but I think of what he can bring through the team on and off the field. You know, he's been through, you know, he's won a World Series. He knows how to, you know, he knows what it takes, or at least he knows how to get on a team that knows what it takes. And, you know, just talking to him, you can see that the guy's a gamer. And then you get Rajay. I think that's we've seen enough of him, of how tough he is on the bases. And I actually talked to him today. You know, he better give as much havoc on the bases as he did to us.
Yan, thanks for your time. Good luck this year.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me.
Drive catcher Yan Gomes with us. It's still 3-0 Cincinnati. Middle of the 5th. Back here at Goodyear, reminding you that after the ball game, Bruce Drennan is back and he's ready to talk sports this afternoon. After the ball game, Drennan live after the ball game right here on Sports Time Ohio. It's funny, you kind of get locked into baseball mode. I have no idea what's going on in Cleveland sports right now outside of this team.
I know. You get out here and there's a 2-hour time difference, and I'm thinking before we leave it might be 3 hours.
I want to say it's like the middle of the month.
Yeah.
The time goes back.
In March, yeah. So then it goes to 3 hours, so then you'll really be lost.
Even more so than I am normally?
No.
J.J. Hoover deals and Joey Butler fouls it back. Butler robbed of a hit his first time up. A nice diving stop at third by Alex Blandino. Up the middle, and that's going to get through. Butler with a base hit, and the Indians have their leadoff man aboard for the first time today, in addition to having their first hit of the afternoon.
Well, he took that pitch on the inside part of the plate, and that inside-out swing really helped. Going right back up the middle. That ball was running in on him. Stayed back nicely, got the hands through. So the Indians' first hit of the day coming in the bottom half of the fifth.
Tyler Naquin rounded out his only time up. Upstairs, ball one.
I got ice cold beer, water, peanuts.
Naquin began the year at Double-A Akron last season and just tore it up. In 34 games, he had .348. Then was moved up to Triple-A Columbus. But this time when he ran into an outfield wall and suffered a concussion.
As we talked, it's all about staying healthy.
Throws into the outfield. Joey Votto launches one. Butler will go to third. And Indians at the corners with nobody out.
Now, Votto, a very good first baseman. And in the past, we've witnessed him make tremendous throws from the side. But this one, he launches into left field. It's a double play ball, and they catch a break. And Butler gets up, hustles his way to third base. So a good start for the Indians now. First and third on the error. Nobody out.
So Giovanni Urshela will try to get the Indians on the board now. Urshela fouled out his only time up. High pop, shallow right, not deep enough with Jay Bruce's on. And there's one away. So up comes Eric Gonzalez, who grounded out back in the third inning. Eric Gonzalez, the middle infielder, shortstop, second baseman. Up and in, low bridged him.
Yeah, got a breaking ball, got underneath it, slipped away, and Gonzalez had to hit the dirt.
Pitch outside, throw down. Naquin back in time.
Yeah, that's a good play for a catcher. And they want to work on their throws as well in spring training. When that right-hander's up, there's nobody blocking his view to first base. You get a ball down in the way, and you can throw it behind and try and nab him, and nobody to affect the throw.
Hoover with a slide step to home plate, and Gonzalez fouls it off to the right. Just inside, 3-1. Eric Stamets waiting on deck, the number 9 hitter. Cincinnati, if you joined us late, scored all 3 in the first inning. A couple of walks by Danny Salazar. They turned him into runs. Popped him up. This might be deep enough. Butler tags. He's coming home. Bruce's throw is cut off, and the Indians get on the board. RBI on a sac fly for Eric Gonzalez, and it's a 3-1 ball game.
He had to stay back on this ball, and it was hit deeper than I thought. When he first hit it, I thought it was going to be too shallow, but it stayed up there, and almost like a double clutch there. Didn't have a good grip on the baseball, so you had to send him in that situation.
However, going back to what you were talking about yesterday, Bruce's throw hit the cutoff man. If that ball sails all the way to home plate on the fly, Naquin goes to second. Now you get another runner in the scoring position.
Well, that's the veteran. You keep it down. Even if you miss, you keep it low. Base runners read high throws, and they automatically go, and first base coaches read them as well and tell them. But you have to keep it down. You have the lead. If he scores, it's no big deal. Most of the time, you're not going to throw the guys out. He was a little too deep. They couldn't take the chance on the first out when Urshela hit that ball.
But now, from a defender standpoint, if you're Jay Bruce, now you know it's going to take 2 hits to get those runs around.
You keep the guy at first base, 90 feet, save 90 feet. You had a 3-run lead. Okay, it's a 2-run lead now, but the guy's still at first base. As we always talk about it, when you're playing defense, always keep your eye on the scoreboard. That dictates what happens and how aggressive certain teams can be.
Way outside, Hoover misfires. And again, he's behind 3-1. Ball to strike, full count. And with 2 down, Tyler Naquin will be off at first base. And it's ball 4. So now the tying run is at first with 2 down. And Rajay Davis to the plate. Tucker Barnhart's going to go out for a chat with J.J. Hoover.
Well, kids tickets start at just $10 for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. And they are located in the family deck out at Progressive Field, home to the expanded kids clubhouse. Go to Indians.com/kids tickets and check it out today.
Davis 0 for 2. Hits it in the air to right field. Jay Bruce comes in, makes the catch. Indians get on the board. A run, a hit, 2 left. After 5, 3-1 Cincinnati. Jason Kipnis bobblehead giveaway will be on Saturday here at Goodyear Ballpark when the Indians take on the San Francisco Giants, and we'll have that game for you right here on Sports Time Ohio, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. New pitcher for the Indians will be right-hander Brian Shaw after Zach McAllister pitched 2 scoreless innings.
Shaw, again, 74 games last year. A workhorse out of that Indians bullpen.
Indians have an entirely new defense with the exception of Carlos Santana, who's in the ballgame at first base still. And Adam Moore, who took over for Yan Gomes last inning behind the plate. Everybody else brand new on the field for Cleveland. Cincinnati will be making multiple changes as well, but Jay Bruce stays in to get at least one more at bat this afternoon. He leads off and tries a bunt, and it's foul up the third base side.
Well, see, even in spring training, you want to get that hit. They're going to give him a bunt base hit. He was going to take it.
Out of play to the left, it's 0-2. One ball and 2 strikes for Jay Bruce. Hit pretty well. Left center, long run for Shane Robinson. Looking up, it's off the wall. And Robinson, the center fielder, fires it to the cutoff man, Jay Bruce, with a leadoff double here in the Reds' half of the 6th inning. Defensively now for the Indians, James Ramsey in left, Shane Robinson in center, Colin Cowgill in right, Todd Hankins at third, Jose Ramirez at short, Michael Martinez at second, Santana and Moore, who were in the game previously, at first base and catcher. Juan Duran comes on to pinch run for Jay Bruce at second base. And Phillip Ervin gets his first at bat of the afternoon and takes a strike. Upstairs, Terry Francona was saying earlier, Rick, that for back-end relievers like a Brian Shaw and a Cody Allen, he said sometimes it's hard in spring training for those guys to reach that level of an adrenaline surge and intensity that they need to compete during the regular season. Because face it, when they come into a game, things are usually frayed, a little hairy. I mean, it's a tight, tough situation. And he said you can't really simulate that in spring training. So sometimes it's difficult for those guys to hit the ground running day one of the regular season.
Well, a lot of times here in spring training, that's why they're going to pitch earlier in the game, because you get better hitters in the game. You know, by the end of the game, of course, the deeper in the spring you go, the longer the good players play. But if you wait around early, you know, you're facing young hitters. And they don't have track records. There's a little cutter that stayed middle of the plate and it goes as a base hit. But I understand that. You know, you don't simulate that adrenaline, but they have to know their own body, and, you know, let's work on my pitches. I don't care the outcome or the results, because I know I'm going to be the back end of that bullpen. Let me get my arm ready. Let me work on my pitches, and I think that should be their main concern.
Jesse Winker gets his first at bat here with 2 on, nobody out. It's up high, ball 1.
Yeah, command, feel. Just getting yourself ready to start the year.
Runner goes at first. Throw down. Close, but not in time. Phillip Ervin steals the base. And Cincinnati is 2 in scoring position with nobody out.
Good time to go, too. Got that man on third base. They have to be a little less aggressive and look that guy back before they throw through.
Foul back. Shaw ready, he deals. And a swing and a miss by Winker. 2-2 the count. In the hole, base hit in the right field. Duran scores. Phillip Ervin stops at third. And 3 straight hits to open the inning for Cincinnati off Brian Shaw.
Take a look, and this pitch stayed middle of the plate there. Couldn't have been any better, and he took advantage of it. Hits it to right field. Could not score 2, but they keep runners at the corners. Still nobody out, and it's a 4-1 Cincinnati lead.
A little bit low, ball 1. Chad Wallach, the son of former major leaguer Tim Wallach. And on deck is Brantley Bell, the son of Jay Bell, longtime major league infielder and coach. Fouled back.
Yeah, how about that? You have guys now that are coaching it. Their sons are up at the big leagues playing.
Jay Bell was the bench coach here in Cincinnati, but was not brought back for this season. Instead, Jim Riggleman was elevated to that role. Brant Bell delivers an RBI knockdown into the left field corner. Phillip Ervin comes home. 4 straight hits for Cincinnati to start the inning. I'm sorry, I think I said Bell. It was Chad Wallach who delivered that hit. Now Brant Bell's coming to the plate. But
yeah,
Wallach with the RBI double.
Off speed pitch there. He gave him a little swinging room. He was able to pull it down into the corner for the double. So 2 doubles, 2 singles. Infield for the Indians are going to come in and try and cut off the run and anything hit at them. They're still looking for the first out.
Brant Bell is a graduate of Mountain Point High School in Phoenix, just down the road here.
Ouch.
And he's hit by a pitch. The bases are loaded, and Brian Shaw is just having a rough go of it here. Bases loaded, nobody out. And he has not retired a batter yet as Mickey Callaway comes out. Looks like Jabba Chamberlain's getting loose in the Cleveland bullpen. It's not Jabba, it's 52. Felipe Polino is getting loose. Tyler Holt in his first at bat today. And the former Indian will take over in center field for Jake Cave. Four straight hits to open the inning, and then Bell hit by a pitch. Tyler Holt takes it, to strike.
Third straight game Holt has appeared in.
A little bit low. 1-1. Infield plays Holt straight up. Double play depth. And a ground ball up the middle and through. That's going to score Winker. Wallach around third stops. Bases still loaded. 3 runs in. And Shaw yet to retire a batter. The Reds just keep moving him up 90 feet now.
Yeah, but it's turning into like batting practice for Cincinnati. Shaw is down the middle with everything. You can see how much plate he's getting, whether he has 2 strikes on him or not. So they are taking advantage of it now. 5 hits in the inning, 10 in the game for Cincinnati, and of course, before they have their 2 runs, still nobody out.
Blake Trahan gets his first at bat as he takes over for Ivan DeJesus Jr.
Cincinnati came out of the gates with 3 in the first, and they were held down until this inning. And Brian Shaw struggling in his first outing.
You remember last year, Shaw did not have a good spring. And in his first 10 regular season appearances, his ERA was over 5. But he turned it around and was once again very effective the rest of the way. Bouncer towards short. Could be 2 here. Ramirez to Martinez to Santana. And that is a double play. The run scores. 4 home for Cincinnati here in the 6th. And it's now a 7-1 Reds lead.
Yeah, but that situation, he'll trade the 2 outs for a run.
Brantley Bell goes to third on the play. And Gavin LaValle will be the batter. Overall last year, Shaw pitched in 74 games, which was tied for second in the American League. Out of play. He had 23 holds, which was 7th among American League relief pitchers.
Well, it's been that way since Brian's been here. It seems like he's every other day. You know you're going to see him coming out of the bullpen.
Well, since the start of the 13 campaign, his first year with the Indians, nobody's pitched in more games in all of baseball than Brian Shaw.
And Cody Allen's been right there with him.
Yeah,
he hasn't been far behind.
Yeah. Just missed outside. Try to locate one in a perfect spot, and it's where he wanted to throw it, but no offer by LaValle, and couldn't quite get the call. dirt. Good block by Moore. Third straight day that the Indians and Reds have squared off here in spring training action. Check swing foul. The next time these two teams meet will be on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. And they'll have 2 more games after that before all is said and done. Just missed again. Good eye by LaValle. And the Reds will send their 9th man to bat here in the inning, and Terry Francona will have to go to the bullpen. Shaw's made 33 pitches in the inning. So we've got a timeout for a pitching change. Felipe Paulino will be coming on when we come back.
Time.
$15 district ticket presented by Sports Time Ohio. A standing room only ticket that includes your first drink. You can grab some friends to catch the game from the corner in the new drink rails in left field. District tickets only available online. You can go to Indians.com.
Felipe Paulino on to face the 9th batter of the inning for Cincinnati. It's Calton Dahl. Hey, Mr. Softy. Don't be afraid to send us up some ice cream, you know what I mean? Jammed him. Bloop to right center. And it drops. Another run in for Cincinnati. On his way to third. The throw is way offline. LaValle in there safely. So the Reds have batted around here today in this sixth inning, and that's now 5 runs in the frame to take an 8-1 advantage now. Juan Duran, who came out as a pinch runner earlier in the inning. Swing and a miss. Felipe Polino, 32 years old. Ran down on strikes. The inning is over, but Cincinnati blows it up with a 5 spot, and they now lead at 8-1. Now back here on another beautiful day in Arizona, where the Indians trail the Reds now 8-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Right-hander Sal Romano is coming on for Cincinnati, the 4th pitcher to work here this afternoon. Last year in 25 minor league games, 6 and 9 with a 482 earned run average. He'll be facing the 2, 3, 4 hitters in the Indians lineup. A shuffled lineup now that most of the regulars are gone, but Carlos Santana will stay in there for at least one more at bat. And we'll go down to the Indians dugout now, where we are joined by Terry Francona. Terry, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How you doing?
We're doing. I know you want to come talk to us now after that last inning, don't you?
Jeez.
That's all right.
You know what? Shaw did the same exact thing last spring. Remember his first outing?
Yep.
We had to go get him. And he said, when I went out there, he said, you know, I wanted to throw all fastballs, but they were hitting those. So I started throwing breaking balls. He said they started hitting those.
Tell him, okay, now you're ready. Get it over with.
Terry, it's ironic that just earlier today you were talking to the writers about the fact that for back-end relievers, it's kind of tough to simulate in spring training the type of game atmosphere that they're going to face in the regular season. You mentioned Cody Allen and Brian Shaw specifically. Maybe you can share with the fans at home how you try to get those guys ready.
Well, it is hard because, you know, I mean, Cody throws the 9th inning, Shaw more often than not throws the 8th. And we try to get him as early as we can to face, you know, the major league hitters as much as you can. But you guys see the lineups. I mean, everybody's out, especially early. And it's early in the day, things like that. So, again, what we're going to try to do is not pitch him in the B games or, you know, in the minor league games. Pitch him in the games here. And just try to pitch them like they pitched during the season, because I think last year we maybe did them a disservice just trying to get them ready because they had pitched so much and they just weren't quite clicking. I want to keep an eye on this here. This kid looks like he's throwing in a little too much here.
No, we'll let you keep an eye on it. That's 2 in a row. I saw him look back out there.
Yeah, I know. My antenna's going up here a little bit. Hang on.
Romano finds the strike zone with Adam Moore at the plate. I'm trying really hard not to say Roger Moore. That's my only concern right now.
Arch, can we set some ground rules early in the year that when we do this, I really would rather just talk to you and not Maddie?
We can set that up. No problem. We could have him removed from the booth.
That ball's not going to hit me, is it?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're in good shape.
All right.
It's not an ugly finder.
You are in good shape.
You're fine.
But now, you're talking about that bullpen, Terry. There should be a couple opening spots there for this spring that some guys can go out and do some work.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, you know, with Cody and Shaw and McAllister and help me, Manship.
Yes.
You know, then, you know, we'd probably like to carry 2 lefties if we could. You know, Crockett's been there, and you kind of up and down last year, and we have some veterans in here, you know, Gorzolani and Thatcher, you know, guys like that where, you know, if they're throwing the ball like they can, having 2 would really help. And then you got, you know, some veterans like Jabba and, you know, things like that. So there is some spots, and we know that, you know, we've done it every year. We take the last couple, 3 guys, you know, on the roster that are usually non-roster guys. So that'll probably happen again.
You know, that's the tough thing, too. If you only break with one left-hander, you know, there's only one time you can match him up in a game, and he's going to get a lot of work for the most part, isn't he?
You know what, Arch? It's not just getting them in the games, but it's like, you know, you got to warm them up, and then if you don't get them in, you know, you kill them. So having to really, you know, it helps the other one, too. But they also have to be usable. You know, if you have a lefty and you're not using them in the situations where it's, you know, how often do we see a left-hand hitter come up in 6th or 7th inning and it's a big at-bat of the game, and if you're not going to them, then you might as well just go with your righties.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. In a perfect world, you'd love to have 2.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember if you mentioned his name when you were going through the bullpen guys, but Zach McAllister, 2 innings today. He looks strong as usual.
He always does, Matty. He comes into camp in such great shape that's the one thing you never have to worry about. And we want to stretch him out a little bit. 1, because I think we all think it's good for him. And 2, you know, we get to that point in spring training, you know, hopefully everybody's healthy. But if something happens, we can continue to lengthen him out if we need to.
Carlos Santana at the plate. I was telling our viewers earlier that you've been asked a lot about your potential lineup combinations, and you've said, look, I don't doodle lineups on note cards. You said the one thing you did think about was, you know, what about Santana in the leadoff spot? And you said you had the guys in the front office do the numbers, run the analytics, and it didn't really come back like you thought it would.
You know, I thought it was one of those things where analytically it would jump off the charts. And, you know, it's just something I thought about. And again, just because, you know, he gets on base with walking so much. And it came back, and it really wasn't that overwhelming to do it. You know, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like something where, you know, they were just like, this would be great. So, again, it was something to think about. I haven't even talked to Carlos about it. I don't know if I'd do it. It was just one of those moments where writers were asking me if I thought about things, and that was one of them. But we need to wait and see, you know, who's healthy, what lineup we do have, and then the pieces start to fit together.
Yeah, as you said, you've got some guys that you brought in here. Mike Napoli, middle of the order hitters. You want your best guys hitting up there in the top few spots so they get all the at-bats.
You know what, Arch, that's exactly. You can line it up all you want, and you try not to make it harder on your left-hand hitters, you know, where they're going to face the other team's best left-hander. But other than that, you want your good hitters to hit more often. And if you kind of line them up at the beginning more often than not, you're probably better off.
Yeah, and the one thing, the big thing is you got to get Michael Brantley back because he's your best hitter and he's going into the number 3 hole.
Yeah, and he'll be back. You know, we've been saying all along, he'll be back the very first day he can be back, and he's doing great. I mean, he's been so diligent, you know, working, and he's coming so fast, but I just don't think it's fair to him to put a date on it. I mean, I know he's shooting for opening day, and I don't know if that's realistic or not, but I hate to put it on him because I'd hate for somebody to think that he's not on time or something like that, because I think he's just flying along, and he's going to be the Brantley we need when he comes back. So that's the really good part of it.
But you know how good athletes are. They think they can come back maybe sometimes a little quicker than what they should. They have to, you know, be held back a little bit. And you as a manager, that's your job, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what, Arch, good players do that. I mean, Gomer came back probably a little too quick last year. And you appreciate that, you know, as a manager, as a coach, but we do have to keep an eye on him and make sure that not that he's just ready to hit, but you know, he's ready to answer the bell, you know, day after day after day. And that, because that's the hard thing, you know, building up the endurance and things where you're not stiff the next day and you can still be productive.
Right.
Carlos Santana bangs into a double play, 2 away, and Colin Cowgill will be coming up. Francisco Lindor had such a positive impact on the club last year in his first opportunity to play in the big leagues. What have you seen from him so far this camp?
Just the same, just maybe with a little bit more maturity, which, as you know, a young 22 or 20-year-old has. You know, we've given him some leadership responsibility in the infield, and he's kind of taken it and running with it. You know, you see him on the days he's not playing over here in the dugout, you know, with Brantley and some of those guys. So he's a pretty smart kid for being that young, and everything that's been thrown at him so quickly. He's handling things pretty well.
Well, and he's got his work cut out for him because he only played 4 months last year, and the league will adjust to him this year and make a difference, won't they?
You know what, Arch? One of the hardest things is breaking with a team and going through April, especially in the Northeast. April can be a cruel month.
Terry, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Arch, my pleasure.
All right, thanks, Terry. We'll see you later.
It's 8-1 Cincinnati after 6.
Well, the best way to enjoy Indians baseball all summer, you can become a season ticket holder. You can choose from 8 different packages they have, and they have a great 20-game package planned for you this year. You'll get up to 12 games for free when you buy 8, and that's if you prorate it out. You can save 40%, so it's a nice deal. You want to check that out. Go to Indians.com, season tickets, for more details.
Now the Indians go to the bullpen. And left-hander Joe Thatcher will come on. Last year with the Houston Astros, pitched in 43 games. Jesus Aguilar takes over at first base now for Cleveland, and that officially has taken out all of the starters from today's game. Phillip Ervin singled, stole a base, scored a run in the 6th.
Terry sent me a text up here and said he wanted to take you to dinner tonight when it's all said and done.
Yeah, right. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And a foul right back. Down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We've been around a lot of people in this game, a lot of different personalities. I don't know that we've ever had anybody like Tito.
No, there's only one. There is only one. I'll tell you, it's great. He loves the game, and he realizes how tough it was to play the baseball game. He's a great manager to play for if you're a player. You can't play for him. You can't play for anybody.
Irvin down on strikes, 1 away. He also has just sort of this catalog of stories that he seems. I mean, if you asked him, hey, tell me a bunch of stories, he might have trouble getting going, but once he gets on a roll, he can spit them out with the best of them. I think Part of what makes it great is he played for different teams and he was around different players, different managers, different coaches. He's got something on all of them.
Well, when you're around the game that long and you pay your dues and you managed in the minor leagues and the major leagues, you come up with stories and things you have to remember.
Now the 1-0 pitch. Indians Vice President Bob DiBiasio asked Terry to tell the story to all the writers the other day, or those who hadn't heard it already, the story. Terry actually got ejected from a game while being intentionally walked one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a high pop. Right center field. Colin Cowgill settles under it. And there are 2 away. Ken Kaiser was the home plate umpire that figured prominently.
Well, it did because it was it happened the day before.
It was a carryover effect.
Right, which usually happens. He had a base hit and thought he was going to get a base hit and a short hop the left fielder.
And Kaiser called him out.
Well, he ended up running first base knowing that he hadn't had a hit in what he was over his last
it was a long time
17 or whatever. Thought he had a base hit. The umpire said the guy caught the ball. He couldn't believe it.
So he gave a lot of grief over that. And then ended up getting called on the pinch hit the next day when Kaiser had the plate.
Right.
And he said, I went up there knowing full well that they had gone at it pretty good the day before. So he said, I didn't even look at him. I was looking straight out at the pitcher. Not even
they're going to
look back
intentionally walk him.
They're going to intentionally walk him. And eventually the conversation started going back and forth. And
as he was not looking at him.
He wasn't looking at the umpire. But Terry said he didn't realize that Kaiser had been fined by Major League Baseball, and Kaiser said something about, I've made 10,000 calls in this game, and Terry said, yeah, and 7,000 of them were not very good. And he got ejected from the game. Beautiful. Sports Time Ohio is your home for this winter's high school championships. Girls basketball March 12th, hockey on March 13th, and then the boys state basketball championships March 19th. Your home for the high school championships is Sports Time Ohio. Steven Johnson, right-hander, coming on now for Cincinnati. Just the fifth pitcher to work today for the Reds. Anthony DeSclafani started, 2 scoreless. Jonathan Sanchez relieved him with 2 scoreless innings. J.J. Hoover surrendering the only one to Cleveland today. Then Sal Romano pitched a scoreless 6th, and now Steven Johnson to pitch here in the 7th inning.
Came over to Cincinnati from Marlin Bird trade in August of last year.
James Ramsey fouls it back.
Big guy, 6'5", 230 pounds.
James Ramsey, and then Tyler Naquin. And Todd Hankins all due up here in the 7th for Cleveland. Ramsey with a ground ball to first. On a 1 away. There's a look at the Reds' current defensive unit. Phillip Ervin in left, Tyler Holden center, Juan Duran in right. Brantley Bell is at third. Blake Trahan at short. Carlton Dahl at second. Gavin Lavallee is at first base, and Chad Wallach behind the plate.
This is the only guy that started the game still in it for the Indians. That's Naquin because he was the DH.
No, that's right.
But everybody defensively out of the game, so it's just a matter of getting him some at-bats all day long today.
Naquin 0 for 2. Ground out, grounded into a fielder's choice last time up.
Yeah, we were talking about him having an opportunity. It's going to get a chance to get that center field job or an outfield job or position. But the key for Tyler is to stay healthy.
Well, and as you have pointed out too, Rick, if he's going to make the club at this stage in his career, he's got to be an everyday guy.
Sure.
Because he doesn't have the experience to be a fourth-out part-time player.
No, your young guys have to play every day. That's what they say. If they don't make the team, they're going to send them down to where they can play every day and get experience. But he's at that point in his career where, you know, very important for him.
Ball gets away, and Naquin is aboard with a base hit.
24 years old.
Carlton Dahl tried to run it down, Rick, but couldn't quite get to it. So we'll see what Naquin does now. He's got good wheels.
Well, 8-1, he's not going anywhere as far as stealing anything. It's just he's going to be a base runner. That's all. Whether he bobbled it or not, he wasn't going to get him. Naquin gets down the line pretty well. Tyler will turn 25 in April, 25th. Or make that the 24th.
Todd Hankins fouled out, or Todd Hankins took over for Giovanni Urshela, who fouled out and flied out earlier today. Upstairs. 3 balls and a strike. Last year at AA Akron, Hankins spent most of his time at second base, but also played at short. Played a couple of games in center field, one on left, one on right. Out of play. Strike 3 called. Hankins thought it was ball 4, but Alan Porter instead rings him up 2 away.
I'll take a look at the pitch. He thought that ball was a little bit inside. Let's see Wallach bringing that ball back over, but
well, Michael Martinez gets an at bat here today now with a runner at first and 2 down. Smash to first. It gets by LaValle. Naquin burning around second on his way to third. And Matt Quintero is going to hold him there. Michael Martinez into second base with a 2-out double on a smash down the first base side.
Well, he jumps on that first fastball. Had a good one to hit on the inside part of the plate. Naquin able to go first and third. 2 outs. You're going on everything. You're thinking that ball is going to be down the line. They have to hold him up.
I mentioned Matt Quintero coaching at third base. This is something, again, that's sort of unique to spring training. After the starters come out of the game, Mike Sarbaugh, the normal or everyday regular third base coach, he'll leave and go with those guys, go down to the practice complex, and he'll take the infielders and do a bunch of ground ball drills. And the reason for that is that you want to do it while they're hot, while they're just coming out of the game, while their arms are loose and ready. Get the work in. Whatever extra work needs to be done, you do it right then at that point in time. So it gives Matt Quintero a chance to.
Well, and he's the assistant hitting coach, but it also, if anything should happen one day, whether Sarbaugh's sick or something like that, Q could go out there and do it during the game. Third base coach is not an easy job.
No, all the eyes are on the third base coach.
Yeah. Well, the only time you get recognized is when a guy gets thrown out at home plate. Or, you know, you bring a guy from first to third and he slides in and he's out. That's when they recognize you.
Or if you're on the Cincinnati side of things today, Billy Hatcher, if this was a regular season game, he would have been noticed because Barnhart came around third and just sort of stopped and ended up the Indians tagged him out to end that inning. You saw Sandy Alomar coaching at first base. Sandy was kind of filling us in a little bit on Juan Uribe, who was a former teammate of his when he was with the Chicago White Sox.
Well, somebody we haven't seen playing a game yet because he reported late. But when he does, there's another guy that's good in that clubhouse, and he's a pretty darn good player as well.
Ramirez flies to center. That ends the inning. Tribe gets a couple of hits. Can't get him home after 7, 8-1 Reds. And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Got a little carnival going on out here.
Yeah, they sure do. They moved it out near the television truck this year.
Actually, the television truck is part of the carnival.
Well, it usually is.
It's a thrill ride. New pitcher for the Indians is Sean Armstrong. 6th try pitcher to work here this afternoon. We got a chance to see Armstrong last year in a handful of games and did a nice job. He'll face the number 9 hitter, Brantley Bell, to lead it off. Bell was hit by a pitch, came around to score the 5th of 5 Reds runs in the 6th inning.
The Indians with 2 bad innings the top half of the 1st when Salazar gave up 3, and then the top half of the 6th where Brian Shaw had a rough outing.
Physically, Brant Bell looks an awful lot like his dad. Doesn't have the flat bat like his dad used to having that batting stance of his.
Wonder if he could sack bunt like his dad used to be able to.
Not many
automatic, wasn't it?
Not many better, especially, and we've talked about this before, but on the AstroTurf.
Yeah. Boom, dead net. Yeah. As good as it gets.
Tyler Holt, RBI single his first time up. And a first pitch strike. The Indians will get on the bus tomorrow and head over to Glendale. Short ride here from Goodyear to take on the Chicago White Sox. Both cuts and misses. It's 0-2.
Yeah, that's one of the nicer things about the Cactus League here, the road trips. You know, like
there aren't many long ones, are there?
Well, no. You have probably, what, 8 teams within 20 minutes of here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say that's maybe more, Rick.
You got Surprise where you have the Rangers and the Royals. That's, what, 15, 20 minutes. And then you've got Peoria, Padres, Mariners. And then they're going to the Dodgers tomorrow and the White Sox. So it's nice.
I mean, even going to the Cubs' new facility in Mesa is...
It's off the interstate. It's not bad.
It's not that bad at all. It's actually closer than the old Cubs facility.
Oh, yeah. Where Oakland is now, that's out in Mesa, right?
One down. Well, you know, the score looks bad, but it wasn't all bad for Indians pitching today. Zach McAllister worked 2 scoreless innings of relief.
Yeah, threw the ball very well, mixed in a good fastball, cutters, a couple of breaking balls out there. Zach looked good, and they said they're going to, extend him out, maybe get to 3 innings in case.
He's kind of got that starter base anyway from what he's been throughout his career.
Not that he's going to be a starter in case of emergency, but he'll be ready to go.
Line drive base hit in the right field by Blake Trahan. Brant Bell stops at second base, so 2 on with 1 out. And now Gavin LaValle will get a chance. He walked his only time up there.
Sometimes that's a good deal, and that's where we talked to Mickey Callaway yesterday, where you have to think about it for pitchers if they're going to pitch their 1 inning. And let's say they go out and only throw 7 or 8 pitches in an outing. You want a guy to get a feel for some of his pitches, so sometimes it's hard to get him 2 innings or 3 innings in an A game. And that's where B games come into play, or minor league games. The minor leaguers aren't quite here yet. I think they report the 7th and get ready to go here soon.
Yeah, by the end of next week, they'll all be here ready to go.
But you can send guys down that you want to extend them out and let them get a feel for breaking balls if you don't get enough work in the A games.
Sean Armstrong delivers. The other thing about spring training too is if you just look online or get your paper and you see Danny Salazar 2 innings, 3 runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. But if you watched how it unfolded today, okay, he struggled a little bit there, but he made an adjustment. He figured something out and finished good, finished strong.
His second inning struck out the side, and you can end on a positive note. He struggled, and he just didn't have it. It was as Yan Gomes put it, he was feeling his way through this thing. And Callaway's going to go out and talk to Armstrong.
Well, he's got Michael Salazar going out with him, one of the Indians' trainers, so that they might have seen something they didn't like. Armstrong seemed to convince them that he's okay.
Well, we witnessed this throughout the course of the year. If they see something, they're going to run out there with their pitching coach and a trainer and make sure, you know, because only they know if something could be bothering a guy before he pitches in a game, and he says he's fine, he can go. But he looks fine.
Tied him up. 2-2. There are a number of times during the season we'll be doing a game, and whether or not we're just not focused solely on the pitcher, but those guys in the dugout, some of them have their eyes trained on that pitcher the entire time. And sometimes after a guy releases the ball, it's a slight movement, and they can pick it up that, oh, he's something. He's trying to hide something that he did, and he's trying to tough it out. But that's the worst thing a guy can do, maybe, if he does get hurt or does injure himself. You don't want to stay out there and try to power through it.
It's the mentality, especially when you get a younger guy. They're not going to let you know, hey, something's bothering me a little bit. They try to pitch their way through it. And a lot of times that's when injuries can happen, is when you're trying to do something when you shouldn't do it. But they don't want to be hurt. They don't want to be put on the DL. They want to stay here at the major league level. So, and
you also don't want to develop a reputation as being a guy that complains every time you feel a twinge or something, right?
Absolutely. You get an opportunity, I'm not coming out. I'm staying in, and you like that attitude. But nowadays, they have eyes on everything.
Valley down on strikes, 2 away. I remember a trainer telling me once that professional athletes are the very best at masking any sort of I don't want to say maybe an injury, but any sort of discomfort. He said, it's hard for the untrained eye to pick it up. But he said, if you know what to look for, you can tell if a guy is favoring, say, a leg. He's got a bad leg, something. They can cover it up.
Mind over matter.
To the casual viewer, you wouldn't know anything's wrong. But if you're a trainer and this is your business, you can tell when a guy is, just got maybe a slight hitch in the giddy up, as we say.
Oh, yeah. Well, throughout the course of a year, if you're an everyday ball player, there's a few hitches of that giddy up throughout the course of the year, and you don't have it, and they know it. But they don't want you to, go that 100% if you only have 75 that day, but you're still in there. You have to play your way through it.
Well, I guess that's that fine line, Rick, between being hurt and being injured. One you can play through, the other one you can't.
Well, that's true.
Close pitch. Didn't get the call. 1-2 for Calton Dole.
Well, in spring training, that's a good pitch. Period.
That was strike 3 at one point earlier today. Not a play. Two on, two out, 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Armstrong strikes him out to end the inning. Dell was trying to claim that he had foul tipped it, but the umpire said no dice. See you later.
That's strike 4.
Anyway, we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. This weekend, NASCAR goes west to Las Vegas beginning on Saturday with Xfinity Series racing. FS1 will have a special guest. Clint Boyer will be in the booth calling the action. Then Sunday, it's the Cobalt 400 at 3 Eastern on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Bottom of the 8th inning. And the new pitcher for Cincinnati is Pedro Villarreal. Shane Robinson will lead it off for Cleveland. And he lines a base hit into right field. Just the 4th hit of the afternoon for Cleveland.
Well, get up there, you look for the first fastball, he got it, he did what you're supposed to. Hit a line drive and got a base hit.
Adam Moore drew a walk, his only time up this afternoon. Moore played 1 game for the Tribe last year. Spent the season at AAA Columbus. Moore had a solid postseason for the International League champs last year. In 10 postseason games, he had 2 doubles, 3 homers, and 10 runs batted in. A little bit high. Ball and 2 strikes for Moore. Indians will open the season this year at home against Boston.
1 month from today, huh?
Monday, April 4th. I think today's only the 3rd. Your day ahead.
I usually am.
That's right. Moore goes down on strikes. Cincinnati will open the season at home against the Philadelphia Phillies. On Monday, April 4th as well. And then these two teams will meet in May. 4 games, 2 in Cleveland, 2 in Cincinnati, beginning on May 16th, a Monday through Thursday. Jesus Aguilar bangs it foul. Indians will have interleague play early this year. The New York Mets come to Cleveland April 15th, 16th, and 17th. And then at the end of the month, the Tribe will be in Philadelphia to take on the Phillies.
Almost walked into that one. Yeah, we get National League East this year. We'll make a stop down in Atlanta. Washington comes to Cleveland.
And the Indians will go to Washington.
Indians, yeah.
For a couple of games in August.
Well, that's a new ballpark we haven't visited yet.
Yeah,
we played the last year when they were at, what, RFK?
Yeah. Tribe will host the Miami Marlins, too, in early September. Aguilar with a bouncer right at the second baseman Dahl. Reds turn 2, and we go to the 9th. 8-1 Cincinnati.
Well, Danny Salazar started this ball game today and struggled in the first inning, but he certainly reeled it in and had some nice pitching going on. Struck out the side in the second inning with a good fastball. That changeup was very good. Had a breaking ball as well. Good slider. So he ends up that second inning with the 3 strikeouts. You can see he struggled with command in the first, but reeled it in and ended up with a positive day after the first inning.
Now here in the 9th inning, yet another new Indians pitcher, Will Roberts. will come on. 7th Indians pitcher to work here this afternoon. He'll face Juan Duran, Philip Urban, and Jesse Winker for Cincinnati. Duran cuts and misses. High drive hit to right field. Pretty well struck. Cowgill looking up, and it is long gone. Juan Duran punches one out of here, and Cincinnati extends the lead to 9-1.
Well, as big as he is, 6'7", if he can extend the arms, he can hit it a long way. That ball carries. Take a look at the pitch. Fastball, belt high, middle of the plate, and you could tell just by the sound of that bat, the ball off the bat, that it was hit solidly, and it got out of here. So 9-1 Cincinnati now, their 13th hit.
Philip Urban singled and scored in the 6th, struck out in the 7th inning. Up the middle, cut off by Ramirez. No, couldn't get to it. He was there, but just couldn't quite corral it, and a base hit for Irvin. Jesse Winker, 1 out of 2 with a single, an RBI and a run scored. You know, the one thing that every manager you talk to, whether you're in the Cactus League or the Grapefruit League, they all say pretty much the same thing about spring training. And that is goal priority number 1 is to get through healthy.
Sure.
And already I saw the Detroit Tigers lost Cameron Mabern for at least a month with a broken wrist.
Oh, boy.
After he was hit by a pitch. Pitches outside. I hope it doesn't get too much attention to the point where we end up with a lot of controversy in baseball, but sure enough, why'd I even bring it up? Double play ends the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th when we come back here to Goodyear. 9-1 Cincinnati. Another view from Rick Manning's backyard here in Arizona.
Maybe the Colorado River.
Is that goes to the Grand Canyon?
Yeah. Sure does. The rapids down there. Supposed to be a great place to go white water rafting.
Yeah, I think I'll pass.
Well, we knew that. They have scorpions and snakes down there.
Lane Thompson comes on to pitch for Cincinnati. Like I was just getting started to talk about the new slide rule at second base is going to generate, I think, I'm hoping it doesn't, but I think it's going to generate a lot of talk and hopefully no major controversy. But already there was a play in Fort Myers, Florida, Red Sox game. John Farrell said Hanley Ramirez went into second base. He slid to the outfield side of the bag. On the field, nothing happened. But they were told after the game that had it been reviewed, and it is reviewable on instant replay, that they would have called him out.
Could he reach the base? Was he that far out of play?
Well, here's what John Farrell said, and this is what's interesting, because a lot of this is going to come down to, you know, what is allowed and what is not allowed. And John said that they were told that he didn't make enough of an attempt to get out of the way of the second baseman. So John is basically saying, look, base runners usually slide to one side of the bag or the other based on what's most comfortable. It's what they've done for a lot of years. But one thing we do know is that if a runner slides to the outfield side of the bag, you can't reach back to the base and grab it, or you're going to look like you went out of your way to go after the fielder, and you're going to be called. So what we're telling our players is keep it simple, slide right at the bag.
You know, that's unfortunate because normally if you're a base runner and there's a ground ball to the right side and the shortstop's going to turn a double play, you would slide to that side of the base because he's going to come across. So that's where you're supposed to. If it's hit to the shortstop side, you'd slide to the inside part of the base because the second base is going to cover. You would assume he's going to come over the bag, and that's the way I was taught. Now, if you have to go just straight into the base and stop early, I think it's crazy. It's going to take a while.
And the other thing,
and the guys have to stay on the base now. The neighborhood play's no longer, correct?
Right.
Your foot has to remain on the base
to complete the force.
So that you're going to, yeah. So I'm sure that's reviewable as well.
You got to slide early.
Yeah.
Can't slide late anymore. Which I think is a good thing.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. There's a lot of guys that really don't know how to slide, period. You know, that's something that nobody ever practices. There's some guys that are, you know, good athletes. You can slide. But, you know, some guys slide late. Not intentionally. They're trying to beat the throw. Guys that don't run real well and they slide maybe a little later. They end up going over the bag. I can see that. I mean, it's not done intentionally. It's just guys that they're not good sliders.
One guy who I thought slid late that we saw and was a base stealer was Michael Bourne. Well, he would go into the bag so hard.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes almost looked like he was going to snap his leg in half.
Take that extra step so he could get to the bag quicker.
Right.
But you can't do that anymore.
Ramsey goes down on strikes, 2 away. Well, why is this rule in place? Look no further than last year's postseason.
Utley, you know, right there, he comes late. Now, that's like a roadblock there, and he never slid until he could reach the base. But his job was to break it up. You see, he slid late, and he hit him before he even hit the ground. Now, and it ended up costing this guy, he had knee surgery. So,
Ruben Tejada, went off on the card, had knee surgery. There was another collision. I don't want to call it a collision play, but there was a contact play in that the second baseman for Pittsburgh. Was it second baseman? Yeah, Kong.
Yeah. Well, he ended up, yes, he had surgery too. But, you know, he didn't feel like it was a nasty slide or a guy went out of his way to hurt him.
But I think it sounds to me like Major League Baseball would just rather kind of eliminate the contact.
Well,
they've done it at home plate.
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to take a while. I guess what they were trying to do is get guys to slide earlier, you know, and eliminate that going through the bag like Utley did there, which I can see. That used to be legal. It's not anymore, and, you know, that way you'll keep the middle infielders. They don't want to see that. we'll see. We'll, I'm sure, have our share. And, you know, that's something we should talk to Terry about to see what their intentions are throughout spring training when you're talking to your guys as far as sliding.
Robbie Grossman draws a walk. And we'll get Zach Walters pinch hitting. I guess one way to think of it, Rick, is like this. In football, if you have the ball as a ball carrier, you're expecting contact so you can protect yourself from any kind of hit. Not saying you're not going to get hurt, but you at least can protect yourself because you know it's coming. If you were to go after a player without the ball, the way a base runner goes after a shortstop or a second baseman, he'd be flagged immediately. So maybe that's one of the reasons they're trying to clean it up, just because those guys are defenseless at that position in the pivot. We'll see how it plays out. The ball game is over as the Indians fall to the Cincinnati Reds today by a final score of 9-1. Cincinnati used 2 big innings, a 3 spot in the first and a 5 spot in the 6th to power their way to the easy win this afternoon in Cactus League play. Cincinnati is now 2-0 with a tie. The Indians now 0-2 with a draw against Cincinnati yesterday. And tomorrow afternoon, the Indians will play the Chicago White Sox. We'll be back with you Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, right here from Goodyear, when the Indians take on the San Francisco Giants. Thanks so much for being with us. For my partner, Rick Manning, I'm Matt Underwood. Stay tuned. Drennan Live comes your way next here on Sports Time Ohio.